everyone, today I've come on to join in the Junk Journal July UK collaboration between Lindsey at the Vintage Button on YouTube and by Be Happy Stationery. So Be Happy Stationery has a design team Facebook page and a Junk Journal Community Chat Room UK Facebook page. You can join either of those pages and yeah, you'll find us in there. And today I thought we could make some buttons. I thought, well, not everybody has buttons. I know a lot of creative people do have a little stash of buttons, but I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea if we could make buttons to match our journals? So here's some that I made a while ago. You know, I had a bit of an experiment. Some are from printables, so I just printed them off and cut them out. Some are ones that I'm going to show you how I made. These are the ones I'm going to show you how I made today. Ones like this one. Excuse my voice, I am not very well. So we're going to make something similar to that today. And what you'll need is some card, pretty card for the front of your button, and then some thick card for the back of your button. And you will either need a circle punch, something that will punch your circle out, or something to draw around that you can cut out. So you could use the lid of your glue, draw around it and cut it out, and you've got your circle. I've cut one out in that, cut out my tops, glue them onto there, and then cut them out with my scissors. So that's what I'll do. I've chosen mostly ones that will match the HeARTful kit that I'm using for my journal, for the Junk Journal July. I'm just going to do a few to show you how to do it. I don't want to make it a long video. So they're my tops, and then I'll do some in different sizes. You can do them in any size you want, literally any size you want. So if you want little teeny tiny ones, you can have little teeny tiny ones. If you want great big huge ones, you can have great big huge ones. They're handy for so much. You can layer them up, you can pop them on top of your, they look cute on top of a cluster, a little button does. So it can be a fake button or a real button, it wouldn't matter. So yeah, you're going to need your topping paper, your backing paper, some glue and some varnish. I'm going to use Mod Podge for varnish, and for my glue I'm going to just use my Pritt stick. So yeah, I have these two circles already. They were given to me by the lovely Zoe, so I'm going to use those to make buttons with. So I've got a few there. I'll just do a couple of the really big ones, and then I'll show you how to carry on. Yeah, I'll just do two really big ones. It doesn't matter what size you do them all, you know, it's the same sort of process for all of them. So I'll do one in this one. There we go. And as I say, anything that's round, just draw around it, even a cereal bowl. If you want one as big as a cereal bowl, you'll knock yourself out. Yeah. So, I think we can fit another one on. I think we can fit a couple of the little tiny ones on that as well. Right, so another thing I have is my Brabble, anything sharp that you can pierce through, and I've got a black pen. Any black pen or biro will do, or even a pencil will do, to be honest. So I have all my buttons cut out, and I'm going to glue them all onto here. The back of the button will then be this colour, which is fine. And if you wanted to, you could even put, you know, you could put a different colour card on the back if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. So let's get our buttons glued onto here. And so I have my circles all glued onto my thick card. I'm now going to go round with my scissors and cut them all out. Okay, so I've got all of my buttons cut out. This one hasn't actually been glued on, so it's going to be left to the side for now. But I've got them all cut out with the card on the back, and the next thing I need to do is to draw where I'm going to put my buttonholes. You might not want buttonholes. Some people might just want plain buttons, which is, in that case, you don't have to pierce holes in them and make holes, but yeah. I'm going to do it by eye, and I'm going to use my black pen to make two little circles about where I want my buttons to be pierced. Don't worry if they're not perfect, not all buttons are. Just, this is how I do it. If you want to be, if you want to do it perfectly, then you can measure. Something I rarely do is measure. So now what I'm doing is I'm going round and I'm putting my little black circles where I'm going to pierce my holes. You need to pierce your holes before you varnish, so that your holes are not, you can't pierce your holes once it's varnished because it'd be too hard. The smaller ones are easier to do because you've not got such a, I always find the bigger ones are harder to, right, where you're going to put your holes, are harder to mark where you're going to put your holes. And then I've got my bradawl and I'm going to pierce through with my bradawl. There we go. And then this one's not very easy to do, is it? Can't quite see where I want it, so I'm going to use the other one as a template to do this one. Look at that, I've made the holes on that one in nearly exactly the same place. That was clever, wasn't it? Mind you, it's probably more luck than judgment now in me, yeah. And if you do find you're struggling with this thick card, another thing you could do is layer up thinner cards. So you could cut out your thinnest pieces of card and layer them up. Yeah. Right, so we've got them all done. They've all got the holes on. Now all I need to do is varnish them and leave them to dry, and they're done. And then they can be used as decorations in your journals. So I'm using Mod Podge Glossy for mine, and I have got a little bit of water in this one as well because I've been using it for varnishing other things. So yeah, literally just pop a coat of varnish on them and leave them to dry, and you will be left with the ones I showed you in the first place. So I'm just going to go through and just make sure my holes aren't too full of varnish. Okay, so that's the buttons made, and when they are dry they will be like this one, and you'll be able to use them to decorate your pieces in your journal. You could pop them on a pocket for a bit of decoration. You could pop a bit of lace behind them, a bit of fabric, bit of hessian. Yeah, you could make little clusters and pop that on the top of your cluster. Yeah, endless possibilities. So there you are. If you didn't have any buttons, you now know how to make them. I hope you enjoyed that and got some inspiration from it. Do pop over to Lindsey's channel at The Vintage Button and to Sandra at Be Happy Stationery. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.